So here we are again, back by clearly unpopular demand, and getting straight into part two of a multi-part look at female vocalists and the lyrics that they're singing. This is a second song with Tarja at the helm of Nightwish. And it was one of the first songs that I was asked to cover by early commenters in the postcards below. Notably, Ralph Mayer and Ski Smith both asked for this. And of the initial Nightwish song requests, this was one of the songs that I thought, yeah, I can very much get a handle on that. And I was all teed up to do it until I casually looked at The Greatest Show on Earth and was taken in an entirely different direction for a little while. But since we're looking at female vocalists, I thought it was a great time to come back to this song and take a look at Dead Boy's Poem, which is a cheerful little ditty, a cheerful little number, with Tarja giving voice to Tomas's words. So this is Dead Boy's Poem from the Wishes to Eternity DVD, apparently, which was a concert filmed in the year 2000. So, there we go.
It's time to calm down. You are going to hear a poem from the child's heart.
So, the title says it all, Dead Boy's Poem. I did find an article crediting the young boy who read this poem, Shane somebody, I think. I live no more to shame, nor me nor you, I'm sorry. A young boy that feels that he's brought his family shame. Is that a familiar situation? I don't know. It feels abusive, clearly. The idea of a young boy attracted to music and poetry, perhaps in a family where, in a Billy Elliot style, music and poetry is considered to be something not for men. Born from silence, silence full of it. That's a beautiful line. Born from silence, the silence of the womb, although, again, it does make me consider this idea that women increasingly, I know that we played my children music, or at least music filled the womb when they were filling the womb, but born from silence, silence full of it, a perfect concert, my best friend. The idea of playing a perfect concert, the idea of writing a perfect piece of music, so much to live for, so much to die for, if only my heart had a home. The boy feels clearly out of place, he's ashamed to his family. He doesn't feel like he has a home. He feels like singing gives him his voice. I love Forget What You Can't Play. I'm reminded of Rush, as often I am, La Ville Strangiato, when they admit after they released the album that they were kind of playing music just slightly above their pay grade. Forget what you can't play. Right above your ability. Aspire above your ability. Hasten to drown into beautiful eyes. Walk within my poetry. This dying music. My love letter to nobody. I mean, a kid all alone writing a poem that he doesn't think is ever going to be read, a lyric he doesn't think is ever going to be sung or heard. I mean, okay, it's not a cheerful song. It's quite a sad image. A very sad image. Never sigh for better world, and then it's repeated here after these two verses. Never sigh. Never regret. Never long. Sigh's a tricky word. It feels like another one of those idiomatic moments. But if I presume that never sigh means never long, never feel the longing for the better world, because I've already composed it. I've already played the music in my head. It's the better world is in every thought of the music I write. It feels to me like this is a child saying, my life sucks. My life is short and brutal and horrible. But there is escape in the music. There is escape in the writing about eclipses and virgins and beautiful gardens and stories told within them. Alice in Wonderland just came to my mind as I read that. The kingdoms I created, the wisdom I reached for in my writing, failed in becoming a god. Now, it may not be what the intent was here, but McKee, the principal teacher of storytelling, talks about how as a writer you are supposed to have a godlike knowledge of your world, a godlike understanding of your world. Yes, you have a godlike ability to move the characters in that you write around the world. You have a godlike ability to say, oh, I need him to feel this now, therefore I'm going to suddenly invent a piece of backstory from 30 years ago that justifies why he feels like this now. And because I am the god of this world, what I write now becomes true for the last 30 years for my character. So you have a godlike power, but you have to have a godlike understanding. And I don't know whether this boy that Tomas is writing about was writing about an imagined story where he failed to become a god or not. That's probably the case, but to me, there's a sort of melancholy idea in that the writing, you failed to become a god of these worlds. Or maybe it's just some Finnish melancholy. But never sigh, he says at the end. He opened with never sigh, never long, I think, for the better world. Never long. He closes with it. And then we get back into this genuine poetry written by, or read by, this young boy. Let's take a listen. Never sigh. It's nice to see the composer singing his words.
Remember only the verse, some make us cry, though without tears. For I've given this its strength, and it has become my only strength. Comforting home, where there's lack, chance for immortality, where being wanted became a thrill. I never knew the sweet piano writing down my life.
Wow. Remember my lines, don't remember the hand that wrote them. Remember the verse. The cry without the tears that was behind it. My writing, it gave it strength, and that strength became my only strength. Oh, wow, this is, I mean, it's a grim vision, isn't it? A mother's lap, a comforting home. The idea of being wanted was a thrill this child never knew. I can imagine that this is a metaphor. I can hope that this is a metaphor for a young boy who felt awkward and out of place and found comfort and strength in writing the music and the words. The sweet piano writing down my life. Tomas writes about writing so much. It clearly is so important to him, the ability to put his words down, to craft the music around them and achieve this immortality. Man, I hope this is metaphor.
The sweet piano writing down my life.
Another compositional solo, lovely, beautiful.
Show me love, help the Lord. So much more I wanted to give to the ones who love me. I'm sorry. Time will tell this bitter farewell. I live no more to shame, nor me, nor you. And you, I wish I didn't feel for you.
There's an interesting contradiction here in these words. So much more I wanted to give the ones who love me. And yet the suggestion was that he was unloved. Who are the ones that loved him, that he wanted to give more to? And once again, to this idea of shame. I think I read somewhere that Tomas has written repeatedly about this theme of wanting to live up to your parents' expectations. And this the idea that this boy is writing from a position of feeling like he has shamed his parents is very clear. And I wish I didn't feel for you anymore. Which almost certainly suggests that while feeling unloved and a source of shame, the potentially suicidal child knows that his suicide will bring pain. I mean, it's dark. It's kind of beautiful. It's the ragged edge of the kind of things that I feel comfortable talking about, because it's poetry and so clearly understandable in intent, but impenetrable in some ways. Teach me passion, for I fear it's gone. No, it's not. You're writing about it. I do like show me love, hold the lawn, the love lawn, hold the love lawn, the love lawn, the lawn, the ones that have lost love. It's again, it's another one of those moments where idiomatically I might not have done that, but I like seeing it done because it's an unusual use of the language. Now we get into a moment. I know we do.
And you, I wish I didn't feel for you.
Before she starts singing the words, let's just talk about them, because I was reading up on this. A lonely soul, an ocean soul. And I saw a couple of people opine that a lonely soul is obvious, but the ocean soul is an abused soul, because I think in our current zeitgeist, we know that we've been abusing the ocean for a long time. But I have a counter to that. I don't think that an ocean soul is an abused soul. I think that this lonely soul is also an enormous soul, a vast soul, a Pacific Ocean soul. I think that ultimately what Tomas is honoring here is that the boy of his poem was a lonely soul, but that soul was vast and all-encompassing. 75% of our planet is water, and we're back at water again, and the oceans are deep and vast, and ultimately they sustain life. I think this boy in this dead boy's poem might have been a lonely soul, but I think he was a vast one. Let's listen to the pipes. So it's very hard to find redemption in these words. They seem to suggest from the title through the text that this is a suicide note, a sad story about an abused, or at the very least, lonely child who ended it all and left behind words and music. But interestingly, the music at the end has almost a sense of welling, uplifting joy that maybe suggests that either that was the redemption or there is redemption in the music. And I'm gonna cling to that because I need redemption. It's important to me. In terms of watching this performance, I was lucky enough years and years ago to make a behind-the-scenes documentary when the three tenors performed at the Union Buildings in South Africa at the end of Nelson Mandela's term as president. I was commissioned my company was commissioned to make a documentary about that, about the technical side of that. But of course, we got to witness the tenors sing and the orchestra and all of those things. And the thing that I observed there, that I saw here, that is very striking, is that in singing this last operatic piece, Tarja has absolutely no microphone technique. None. She has none of the microphone technique of a rock singer. She is only using the microphone for amplification. The performance is all in the control of her voice, which is a particular trick of powerful operatic singers, and incredibly impressive when you can't fade the microphone away with a physical movement, as so many great singers do in the rock lexicon. It's astonishing to see this level of control and this power, where all the microphone is doing is serving to take that power to the speaker system. It's a sad song, this. It's a lovely piece of writing, but it's a deeply sad song, and I would like very much to believe it's metaphor, and I would like very much to believe that the lonely ocean soul found some redemption in the uplifting music at the end. Tomas has a melancholy, bleak heart, it seems, to go along with his sense of humanity and his sense of wonder at the world. I understand why people thought I should look at this. It's a fine piece of writing. Not many jokes. And a great performance, from which we will move to a few more requests from other users of this channel. We'll take a listen in the next few days to a couple of other female singers. And I'd very much hope that you would come along with me on that journey as I discover them, and hopefully in discovering them, introduce them to you. Until then, keep the faith, you lonely souls. Thanks for watching.